Welcome to Soho Central News. This is Minnie and Bertha. Today is November 9th, 1888, and we are here in Whitechapel with some breaking news.
According to Historic UK, today Jack the Ripper committed his fifth homicide, a 25-year-old young lady named Mary Jeanette Kelly. Before the homicide, her whereabouts were unclear. However, we do suspect that she was a prostitute, like all the other victims of Jack the Ripper.
Kelly was found in her room at Miller's Court. According to Historic UK, her throat had been cut, her nose was cut off, her entrails were draped over a picture frame, her body was skinned and gutted, and her heart was on the table. The rent collector who found her body says, "I shall be haunted by this for the rest of my life." The following is an image of the crime scene. Some details have been modified for viewer discretion.
For those of you who haven't read about this in the paper, we will look over the rest of the murders from the mysterious Whitechapel butcher who calls himself Jack the Ripper.
As reported by Historic UK, on Friday, August 31st, 42-year-old Mary Ann Nichols was killed and found on Bucks Row with a bruised face, slashed throat, and hacked open stomach.
On September 8th, Historic UK says, a second body was found, the murder linked to that of Mary Ann Nichols. This was the body of Annie Chapman, a 47-year-old. She was another prostitute. Chapman was found at 29 Hanbury Street. Her head was almost severed from the slash at her throat, and her stomach was almost torn apart. Part of Chapman's bladder was also taken.
September 30th was a grim day, Historic UK describes. The Ripper committed 2 murders, minutes from each other. The first one was Elizabeth Stride. She was found at 1 a.m. behind Burner Street. Blood was still pouring out of her neck wound when they found her, hinting that she had just been killed. Her murder was much less gruesome.
Yes, she was a lot less mutilated than the other victims. The police are thinking that Jack the Ripper may have been close to being caught during the murder, and he ran off in a hurry.
The second murder that night was at 1:45 a.m. It was Catherine Eddowes, age 43. This was Ripper's 4th murder, the homicide of another prostitute. Historic UK says that her body had been ripped open and her right ear was cut off. The police followed a trail of blood to a doorway where they found a message that said, "The Jews are not the men to be blamed for nothing." The head of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Charles Warren, ordered it to be rubbed out, and a key piece of evidence was destroyed.
That's interesting, Minnie, because why would Warren want to rub it out? It could possibly come off as offensive in some way, but it could be crucial to solving the case.
I completely agree. What do you think? Was rubbing out the message the right thing to do? Write to our column in the Soho Central newspaper and let us know what you think.
On another note, says Clarice Swisher, Jack the Ripper sent many taunting notes to the police, one even containing the kidney of one of the victims. In one letter, the Ripper taunted the police, saying that he would send them the ears of his next victim. But as we already know, he didn't have enough time during Eddowes' murder and only cut off part of her ear.
Did you know that most of the murders were down dark alleyways, and that he only had time to kill his victims between people walking by?
The only exception to that, however, was Kelly. She was killed in her bedroom.
Maybe he wanted to have a grand finale.
And now a letter to our advice column.
This letter is from Annette B. Dear Minnie and Bertha, I realize that my maid leaves considerable amounts of our house dirty, and some rooms she doesn't even touch. However, the rooms that she works on turn out immaculately clean. I once pointed this out to her, and she seemed to ignore the comment. She can be quite rude in response to constructive criticism. What should I do? Fire her? I wish she would do as good of a job as she does in most rooms, but she just won't. The only problem is that it is ever so hard to find good, loyal workers these days, so replacing her would be a challenge.
Our answer to that is to keep her. We think that because you are extremely lucky to even have a maid, and that you could just tell her to be better, she might agree. People really need money nowadays, and she will probably want to stay.
This just in. According to John Wilkes, the police have found a body in the Thames and have discovered that it was a school teacher in Blackheath. So far, they believe that he might be Jack the Ripper, since it was right after the 5th murder.
But can we trust the police?
That is a very good question. A very good question. Even Queen Victoria is upset about how poorly the police have been catching him.
And now an ad from Fagan's Shoe Polish Shack. My shoe polishing store, where your boots will look spiffy and new. We are the only on-the-go shoe polish company. Our employees are the best of the best.
We'll polish your shoes so well that you won't even know how old and cheap they are. Ah!
No food for a week!
But I'm so hungry!
Silence! Pack up your bags and get back to the shack. Anyway, we give you the best products, the best service, and you only deal with the most pleasant people. Shut up, you worthless runt! Come to Fagin's Shoe Polish Shack. We really need your money.
We're back with the Soho Central News. This is Minnie and Bertha reporting live from Whitechapel. Our topic today is the mysterious Jack the Ripper. Bertha, take it away.
Thank you, Minnie. Coming up, we're going to have a special guest. Here's George Hutchison, who saw a man walking with Mary Jeanette Kelly the night of her death. He will tell us his story right now.
Thanks for inviting me. The night of Miss Kelly's murder, I saw her walking with a man.
What did this man look like? Where did you see them?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he looked like because, it's so dark, but I think I saw him near Miller's Court where she lives.
Do you think that you just came face to face with the notorious Jack the Ripper?
I don't know. I hope not. He might come after me if I give too much detail on what happened. I guess I'll be going now.
How rude! He didn't even say goodbye.
I know, but in these tough times, well, you can't really blame him.
I guess. He's probably feeling a lot of pressure.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the Soho Central News.
I'd like to thank George Hutchinson for making his helpful yet somewhat brief appearance on the show.
Be sure to check us out on the paper and write to us whenever there's something you think we should feature on our show.
That's all for now. Goodbye.